Good day, my dear ones. It is always, always, always a pleasure to sit down and be able to talk to you. That's where I get my relief. I think I've showed this before, but this is Heal by Nature. Beautiful job on your place. I don't know how close I can get to these where you can see these. But this is what it's about. Open yourselves a little place. Even if you do it in the garage of your house, that's where I started, in the garage, believe it or not. I had people waiting on the porch. It was just that sort of thing. I've been in a lot of different places through the years, some not so nice. Just this is affordabilities and stuff like that. I get all that. But this is how you start out, and there's so many suffering Homo sapiens out there that once people get wind that you know the secrets of health and how to turn people's dysfunctions, diseases around, and how to make them healthy again, and how to regenerate their babies, your practice will grow and grow and grow and explode. And this is how you do it. We have wholesale prices for you, and we have local distributor prices. And I've always wanted to help people do that. Wholesale for a company is a ball and chain around their neck, but it gets our message out. And you all are doing such a beautiful job, and I would like to make healers out of thousands of you. Just go out and help the world get well and show them another level of awareness, because this world is so trapped in treating effects. Just treats effects all over the place, and whenever you treat an effect, the cause is still your problem. And being a fluid-based problem, predominantly, it's systemic, head to toe. So we were talking about it earlier. Let's say you had prostate cancer and you removed the prostate. You still have that inflammation everywhere in the pelvic area, through the bladder, because this is a systemic fluid problem. Well, what fluid could be systemic that we could possibly be talking about that deals with inflammation? Lymphatics. That's why these are all lymphomas. It's the lymphatic system again, and we need to have planes flying in the air. Learn your lymphatic system. But by the way we teach, because the way they teach, they don't even know it. So they don't even know how it works. So they can't teach anything about it. So that's important that you understand that system. You fix that one system and your life will be brand spanking new in every way. But, the focus should always be on the cause and ignoring your lifestyle. You got to remember, Homo sapiens didn't start out in caves. We think of caveman, we have that kind of consciousness. That's untrue. National Geographic has tried to do a lot to dispel that image. In fact, that the Homo sapien man is a tropical species. So you got to rethink how you see your past relatives. See them more on tropical lands than in caves freezing to death, because there's nothing warm that humans have. We have no fur, no hair. Some people have some body hair all around. Some guys are pretty hairy. Some gals are pretty hairy. But realistically, the Homo sapien species is a species that needs tropical, at the very least subtropical, like Florida here. Anywhere else, then it's just more demands, more changes, diet, stress, everything else, because your needs change, your environment changes, everything changes, pressure changes. So all these influences on your body changes your desire for different foods. And so it's hard sometimes, living up north, to do a tropical diet. But you got to get well. There's just no two ways about it. Staying warm. Leanne, hello Leanne. Thank you for reading my email, and thank you for what you are doing Oh, thanks, sweetheart. Dr. Morse, I need your help to understand why I keep feeling fatigued, or why my body makes benign tumors. All right, that's real easy to understand. And those two are linked together. I just don't have the energy that I need. It goes up and down. I feel fatigued. And then my whole body is popping tumors. Those two are totally together. One, fatigued, tired, what system would you be dealing with that sort of information? What system in your body would you be feeling when you feel fatigued? Your nervous system, right? Your nervous system is how you feel. Energy, lack of energy, all of that. So when you have a lack of energy, we go to what's called neurological neurotransmitters. And then we know those are the energetic sources that turn on the nervous system that then make things happen. Good example, epinephrine. Somebody scares you, somebody comes at you with a gun, somebody's going to rape you or whatever, that adrenaline comes up, and that's epinephrine and norepinephrine, and that turns on your energy to fight or run, but it also shuts down elimination. And if you're stressed, your epinephrine's are always up and your dopamines and acetylcholines are always down. And the more down they are, then the more down your nervous system is, and then you start moving toward the diagnosis of MS. Particularly because what organs do the adrenal glands control big time? The kidneys. They sit right on them. Well, what role would the kidneys have in life? Just to clean the acids out of the blood? The blood doesn't deal with very many acids. Systemic or dietary acids maybe from your food sources and stuff, but where's the systemic metabolitic acids go? The sewer system, the lymph system. And there's supposed to be only two real exit points for that, urine and sweat. Outside of that, you can ooze mucus out of your mouth, out of your ears, out of your nose, vaginally, and that is the lymph system. When your lymph system backs up, you start running. Mucus starts coming out all over the place because you're full. You filled your cup up. And when you go to a medical doctor that doesn't understand that, they give you antibiotics, which are not just antibiotics, it suppresses the lymph system. So when you suppress a system that needs to expectorate, guess what happens? Hell breaks loose. Sometimes the symptoms are like chemotherapy. The symptoms looks like the tumors are going down because you're burning them out, you're burning everything. Then what happens? Explosion of damaged cells from the very chemo they gave you. The dark agey insanity, I don't know, pretty bad. So you got two things going on here. You've got your adrenals down, of course, and check your blood pressure. Blood pressure, 120/60, textbook. All right, so anything below 120 on the top, we're looking at neurotransmitters. On the bottom, we're looking at the kidneys. So we're looking at the adrenal glands on the top, and we're looking at the kidney function on the bottom. Your kidney function, pressure-wise, should be between, say, 58 and 70 at the very most. If your diastolic is over 70, you've got some pressure building up in the kidneys. You've got some blockages of the lymph system in the kidneys. You have stagnation and acidosis building up. At the same time, you can have real low blood pressure in the kidneys, which means extreme kidney weakness. Top number, when you're below 120, that's low neurotransmitters, and you'll start seeing nerve rings develop in your eyes over genetic lifetimes. The nerve rings are showing the decay of the myelin sheaths. So then you feel tired. Also, then you're open for all kinds of things because your adrenal glands produces over 50 steroids. Most of your minerals, including iron, zinc, selenium, need adrenal steroids. So before you can assume you have a deficiency in minerals, you have to fix your adrenal glands. Then your absorption and, go on with that. So real important to understand that your mix is right in there. You're growing benign tumors because your adrenal glands and your kidneys are not working like they should. So therefore your kidneys are not filtering anymore. Pee in a jar. Just pee in a jar, honey, and you'll be able to look because you can't grow benign tumors and be filtering. You can't grow tumors if you're filtering properly unless you have a lymph node that is decayed or swollen and hard and you can't get behind that. My biggest fear, and I'll share it with all of you guys because you're all healers, you're working on yourselves, a lot of you are working with others, but some of our biggest fears are not their type of fears. Our bigger fears are when you see a lymphatic rosary around an eye and it's been there for a lifetime. And I've got such a case right now. I've had many of those, of course, but I have one case that she's just not getting her cancer out. She's not getting that lymph moving and filtering because the lymph nodes have been swollen and hard all her life. Remember, cells feed into the lymph nodes as septic tanks, and then from the septic tanks or lymph nodes to the skin or kidneys. It's just a process of elimination from the cells, the breakdown and the neutralization of acids and damaged cells by the lymph nodes, and then the elimination of these particles out the kidneys or skin. When that last phase does not happen, you start having problems, systemic. And when you start seeing tumors popping, this is a long time happening. And of course, remember, you start out lymphatically from your mother. Your lymph system and blood system's tight. Mom feeds you, cleans you, and everything while you're in her. But if she isn't filtering and cleaning, you're not, as the baby, filtering or cleaning. That's why you're seeing so many atypical cells, cancer cells, tumors in newborns. It's just, we've gotten really bad, and we really have to, as a race, turn around and take a look at that so that race can continue, or it'll be morphodized and changed. That's the way God does things. So you have an opportunity, the humans have an opportunity here to turn things around, and you guys are right in the mix of helping them do that. Exciting stuff, What else you going to do? Play with toys? Watch football? People ramming each other, hurting each other. Games people play. So, you got those two things you've got to focus on. So you can take a glandular, say, it depends how low your blood pressure is. If it's high, you want to stay around the 200s. But if you're real low, you can hit the 400 milligrams of a glandular adrenal. I would shift after that bottle into the adrenals. If you have low blood pressure, add licorice root to it. But if they're down, the chances of your other endos down are strong too. So the only way you can stop these tumor growths is to get your kidneys filtering. I had a young man from, I think it was New York or New Jersey. This young guy, he was only 11 or 12 years old, but he had over 30 tumors had grown in him, and he had, I thought it was around 30 surgeries. I can't remember, but it was a ton of them, removing these tumors. And you see, once you put someone under propofol and you put someone under that like that 30 times, you're really doing a number on their CNS and their autonomic nervous system as well. So bad thing. So I said, this young man sat right in my desk, right in front of me, right here with his arms like this, and I'm right into this young man, and I'm saying, this is tough diet. You got to be an islander for a while. Can you do it? He looked at me and he said, Dr. Morse, I'll do anything you say as long as I don't have to have another surgery. And you know what? He hasn't had tumors since. The school saved all money up and ran things to save money to get him down here. And we cleaned him up. So, you've got to look at your kidneys and your adrenal function, sweetie, and that's just right where you're at, right here. Is my hormonal imbalance? No. The hormonal imbalance is also a part of this problem, only from the standpoint of your lymph and genetics. How does a cell morphodize? How does a cell lose its ability to perform for somebody? How do you lose your ability to perform for somebody? Well, let's just say you were full of mucus and you couldn't sing or breathe well. Or you were genetically weak and you couldn't produce whatever it was you're producing. So you have two things you have to understand that affects the functionability of a cell. First, it's genetic consciousness. That can be changed. Big time changed. We're proving that every day, and I have for 40 years. So the genetics, the consciousness of that cell, and all the weaknesses that's been developing through your genetic lineage appears in that genetic line in the DNA strands and the chromosome memory patterns. Then you've got your daily dietary habits. And we know that proteins and dairy products are pushed heavily on this planet. But it is also contraindicative to human health, both of them. And so what we see now, when you see a cancer cell or a damaged cell, you see both things. You see mucus and you see proteins. All of them. They call it amyloid plaque. All right. Call it whatever you want. You can blame Alzheimer's on it. You can blame anything you want on it. But what that does is breaks down the functionability of cells. So if a cell is producing T3 or T4, not anymore. So, or cut down on that. Whenever you have a tumor or a cyst or a lot of lymph backing up in your organs, it shuts down your organs. It creates an inflammatory response by your body. When you have chemistry in your body that your body doesn't want, it creates the inflammatory response, inflammation. So here you go, medical doctors blaming inflammation for the problems. Again, working with the ass end of the donkeys. What is initiating your inflammatory response? That's an immune response. What's initiating that? Foreign protein. Well, foreign proteins are proteins that are out of harmony. Foreign means out of harmony in chemistry. So when you're consuming chemistry that might be good for another species, but that's out of harmony with our species, then you're going to have a blowback lymphatically from that. And your blowback lymphatically is generally mucus. That's why all of this is called the mucosa. And it lines your whole GI tract, it lines everything. It's part of your immune system protection against acids and proteins. Because these are the number one things that you have immune response toward. Dairy products, but they're still proteins, dairy proteins. Same thing with glutens and grain proteins. It's the proteins that are getting us. So all this propaganda and all this crap about you got to have proteins, that's the negative forces trying to get you to fall. And you will fall. Because they'll chew up your bowels, they'll chew up your kidneys. Look at all the studies. Finally, the World Health Organization said, all right, maybe this last study will do it. I doubt seriously. I really doubt seriously if a lot of people looked at the World Health Organization's last study of 30-some years showing that proteins are a direct cause of GI tract cancers, and then for our part also kidney failure. You know, it's just a sad thing. People just are in their habits. They don't want to grow. They don't want to learn. They're locked. There's nobody happy. If you want to change this world, then you have to change this world. You can't expect the people that have their consciousness under the ground and that are narcissistic and way out of balance, you can't expect them to do it. We have to keep those people in control. And yet they're keeping us under control. Interesting. But anyway, sweetheart, you've got to get to your kidneys and your lymph system and really honk on that, because you want to stop, because these tumors will not always be benign. Tumors are all benign. Tumors just are a pocket of fluid. If they grow, if they're building up around tissue, means that the interstitial isn't moving, and these tumors are, of course, developing around tissue. Any cell in that tumor is going to be gone. And if I poke that tumor and biopsy it and I pull out one of those cells, yeah, of course. Of course. But it's in the tumor. And it's going nowhere in the tumor. The tumor has it locked still. A tumor is just a closet. When you don't want something you don't like, you store it away. And that's just what your body's doing. The tumors and cysts are storage compartments because there is blockages. If you have no blockages, you have no storage compartments. Your lymph nodes are plenty. See, so understanding that is real important, and understanding the system that you have to go after when you have symptoms that are not quite what you like. Any symptom that's not a symptom of vitality and vigor is a symptom of disease. And the chemistry side that is most responsible, of course, is the acid side. You only have two sides. So it becomes quite simplistic. And I've always said, you can't dig into biochemistry and subatomic particles without first understanding the whole. If you do, you'll get lost and you'll never get back out of there. And that's what's happening. Now you have chemistry calling base chemistry acid chemistry, and they got themselves all turned around. So there's no wonder they can't find the truth out of it. They're so lost in effects that you have to pull back to the original design and look at that first. Start looking at the bigger picture, then go down to the micros. Go to the macro first. You'll help to understand the micro much better. Is my hormonal imbalance, or I simply need herbs to balance my system? You need to get your systems filtering and cleaned up. That's all I can say. This is the filtration is important. If you're not sweating, it's the thyroid. If you're not filtering in the kidneys, it's the kidneys. And adrenals. But you see how the twins are right there for you? I've come across you doing research to find a doctor who can help me. Can I speak with you, please? Thank you so much. Absolutely, huh? Call in, make an appointment if you want, or get on our 14-week protocol, or I'll write you one, and it's spelled M-O-R-S-E. Not Morse. It's Morse. K-I-N-A. Thank you for replying to my previous question. I would like to ask you, what do you mean by being spiritual and learning how to use the mind and still be conscious? Oh, okay. What does it mean and how do you achieve it? I have always been very spiritual, but I get caught in the mind as well. I know. Well, you know, the mind, I call it mind writing, because the mind is our tool to use to create what we want in creation and to maneuver in creation, because you cannot maneuver in pure consciousness. It's in the now. There's no distance. There's no relationships, because everything just simply exists in the eternal now. And it's hard to understand that unless you understand consciousness. It is infinite. It's unembodied. Intelligent. I mean, I don't know these are insulting words probably to the creative principle, that which is the all. But anytime you invoke the mind in thought processes, whether it's memory processes or whether it's the actual initiating thought processes, you are now using a body separate than who you are to manipulate yourself into creation. If it's just the mental worlds you're in, then you're just experiencing mind changes or the movement in the mental worlds and how you experience in the mental worlds. But if you're listening to this, you probably have, of course there are some in this room right now that doesn't have a body attached to them right now, but you probably do that's listening to this. And so if you have a body attached to you, then that mind, it's all so integrated. The mind, the emotions, and then the physical form. So you can, your emotions drives the thought, and then of course the physical body is just the effect. A very, very finite body. And so I don't know whether it just keeps seeing how finite it can get. I don't know. But it's enough to say that thought is your friend or your enemy. Thought is just your ability to function within creation, to pull to you what you want, or to change, or to design, or whatever you want. It's just a play. It's just a play. It is not who you are, and it can hide who you are. Especially the more you promote your ego, then you get lost to the now. Ego and consciousness, individuality, is a razor's edge. It's a razor's edge between consciousness and the etheric body, the id, the first manifestation or individualization of consciousness. But God has to individualize itself or you can't have creation. The infinite, you can't have the infinite and have form because it can't exist. So to have form, so there's activity and there's things to do and there's fish in the sea and monkeys in the tree and whatever, you have to have duality. You have to have two forces at play, not one. Two, positive, negative, acid, base. They're all have names to them, positive and negative. You know, I've had a good experience, I had a bad experience. You know, duality. And duality creates magnetism, creates form. It's just there's form on all levels, you know. So that's all I'm meaning is that sometimes we have to get out of thinking, well, how do you do that? You have to work on this. You have to consciously stop thinking. You're the one in control, so you're the only one that can do this. And it simply means stop thinking. Practice stop thinking. Just practice being in the moment. If you have to repeat to yourself, be here now, be here now, be here now. You see a thought coming in, stop it. I'm in the moment. Don't bother me right now. You've got to spend the time to get a hold of this. J. Krishnamurti is a great dude to show you all of this. He's such a was, not on this planet anymore, but very enlightened being to show you how to get beyond your mind. And we all use the mind, but we're all not the mind. We're all consciousness. You can call it soul. You can get whatever word. See, in creation, we have to use verbiage to communicate and to draw pictures. Consciousness just is. There's no definition to it. You can't define the infinite. There's no physical words that even come close. Matter of fact, physical verbiage, and whatever language it is very fractional to the whole. So that's basically what I meant by that, sweetheart, is to become more conscious, meaning to work in the present moment. Be the watcher, the observer of life, instead of the frantic player. Because after a while, the games are the games. Those of you that understand this are those that are the older souls, and it's time for you to go this lifetime or get out of here, because that's what's happening. I'm giving you the tools to get out of here. And if you work with them, you'll be able to get rid of this lifetime on this planet and this level, if not several other levels. So, it's real simple, and you always keep things simple. The mind wants to come in and go, but, what if? There is none of those words to consciousness. Consciousness just is. And the mind is the one that wants to define something so it can understand it, because the mind uses differences and separation and analysis and all that to perceive life. Consciousness just is. Everything is consciousness. Consciousness just individualizes itself and manifests itself in form. So there's experience. It's just easy to understand that. So go for it, honey, and have fun. I mean, this is where the fun really begins, is when you let go of the killing fields. Fun really starts when you get yourself free. It's all about freedom. Remember what's in the song, Freedom? Yeah, I love that song. He's such a good artist. And of course, he's also a producer. The voice guy. Really good. I love that song. But that's what it's about. It's about getting your freedom again, because then you become so much more of what you truly are. And you feel the ecstasy and joy of just having existence. Having things, they're things. All things have birth, life, and death to them. Tammy, hi Tammy. How do I become a client? Get help. No, you get a hold of the office here and set yourself up a appointment with one of the counselors and take off that way, or you can get on the 14-week protocol and just order them up. We have all kinds of books coming out. We have a nice book with that even, so we got a lot of good stuff. And then you got a ton of these YouTubers that are kicking butt. Some of you guys are kicking butt so good. I'm so proud of you guys. My God, it's just cool. It's just cool. It's fun that we all work together to uplift a whole planet, isn't it? I mean, there's some real negativity out there, and there's some really dark agey destruction and everything. But if we keep infusing that with love and health and vitality, it'll change. It'll change. And it'll bring another level up. Because as a level comes up, there's always new levels being created. It's that spiral, as some of you spiritual people know. I've had no help from medical for 20 years. I get that one. You people have to realize that the medical community is in serious trouble. They're using toxic, if not high fatal event chemistry. There's no help from a consumer protection agency, the FDA, because it's not a consumer protection agency. It touts itself that, but when you take a look at what it's allowing to happen on this planet and how it's trying to shut down herbs and supplements, then who's running it? The negative forces. And that's what you have to understand. The negative forces are now gaining control. That's why we're here, because we're not going to let them gain control, are we? I didn't think so. Yeah, that's why we're here, and there's a lot of spiritual beings fighting on a lot of levels, bringing in the higher awareness. And we have to, because it's decaying. Telling me it's all in my head. I love that one. It's all in your head. Yeah, this pain in my shoulder's in my head. I wonder why I spent the money to come see you for. That's what gets me. And until they understand acidosis, the lymphatic system, and how that all is and works, you'll always go to them and they'll be going, well, it's an autoimmune problem, or it's all in your head. That's what I'm saying. It's time that people realize the limitation of that modality, the only time you need to use that modality, and the other times you need to learn how to fix yourselves, because it's easy to fix yourself. It's easy. That's what we do. We help all of you fixers. You're all fixing your own selves. We're just helping you. That's the way it should be. Never, one guy once, he come in here, he was near death, and he said, I'm going to put my life in your hands. I believe you know what's going on. I'm going to put my life in your hands. I looked at him and said, don't put your life in my hands. You put your life in your own hands. And some of you healers out there, you never let your clients or patients put their lives in your hands. It don't work that way. Medical doctors give you a good example of what happens when you do that. There's a lot of people not real happy right now. Loved ones buried, and I was just doing a protocol for a young lady in Texas, and her mother died at 32 or 35 with breast cancer. I'm reading that, I'm going, what? It's just, we got to stop that crap. Mothers dying in their 30s. I've had several mothers die on me in their 30s. Didn't die on me. By the time they called me, they were one poor Texas lady, she couldn't even breathe anymore. They'd done so much radiation, they fried her lungs, they fried her. And as a mother of 5, knowing that won't cure anything, it sure don't buy them time. There's no statistical study that shows where chemo or radiation buys you time. It's quite the opposite. It shows you accelerate your death, and yet they still do it. Could it be a hard time admitting they're not very smart at what they do? That's narcissism. If you can't help anybody, it's better just to turn them away. They'll live a lot longer. Remember, the studies show that. So let's see what's up with you now. 20 years of going to medical doctors. Oh, my head caused, excuse me, caused from depression. I've been telling them for years it's a problem in my glands, vaginal. It feels like I'm being, stuck with a coat hanger. Now I have white growth, and my flesh under my inner labia is being eaten away, and they still won't look. Yeah. And I tell you what, you want to stop this, sweetheart, or you'll deteriorate your whole vulva, the whole female part there. And you could be flipping some atypical cells in the vaginal canal too. Nah, we don't want to do this. They gave a second glimpse without spreading and said, it's fine now, it's in the glands in my neck, I've lost my voice. Okay, you have to understand what system you have down for both of these occurrences to happen. So look at the distance between the female parts and the voice box. So what could be the connecting link from way up here to way down there? Well, the cells are different, right? You have vaginal cells, you have different cells that makes up the female organs as you do the voice box, right? But they're still cells, so they're not the problem. So what could be the problem that could create decay of tissue? There's only one side of chemistry that does that, sweetheart, and that's the acid side. So that means your lymph system, and if you can't talk, your voice box is full of mucus. So you've got to get that out of you. I've been doing some deeper detoxing, and boy, you'll hear it come out of me. A lot of mucus deep within me. I'm an old farm boy loaded with it. And I didn't, of course, remember when I first got, I was a fruitarian for a while. But, vegetables kept coming in, salads and stuff like that. And I didn't really, of course, I guess you could call that a detox just on fruit all those years. But I would have loved to have had the herbs back then. Holy moly. That would have been really cool. But when I initially started, it was carrot juice and greens and stuff like that. So this is a problem, Tammy. There's no question about it. So I've got a tea called Heal All Tea. Now this tea I designed years ago for females for douching because of atypical cells. So you want to douche with this. And you want to douche with this, say, 1 time a night for about 2 or 3 weeks. At the same time, I'd get like a napkin, sanitary napkin, and I would soak it in that, and I would hold that up against me there and use a towel. You don't have to have it soaking, but have a towel and wrap there. At the same time, you've got to go in your body and fix this, Tammy, and we're back to kidneys and adrenals again. Remember, those are your filtering organs for acids, is your kidneys. Your adrenals are the glands that turn them on or off. So the kidneys are key to this, to getting this vulvodyne out of there. Because if not, you'll decay the whole vulva, you'll decay your whole thing there. And that's not fun or good. The pain can be unbearable. We've had plenty of cases. We had one YouTube case. She was bedridden for you, couldn't wear pants, couldn't do anything. It's not a fun place to be. So that's all acidosis, which creates inflammation, which then, of course, can break down or cauterize almost tissue. So you really have to get this out, sweetheart. So you got to get your kidneys functioning. I get on that 14-week protocol. You have to do something about this one, because you'll decay yourself in a position where you're not going to be real happy. And then, of course, then the tumors, then the cancer, the diagnosis of the cells breaking down from all the acidosis, and boom, boom, boom. Now you're right off into that field again from the same system. Same system. There's only a couple systems in the whole body. So it's not like it's complicated. You know, sometimes look at the human body, people freak out and think it's beyond their expertise to know. It's not beyond any of you guys' expertise to know. Take a look at the medical world. They've had so many years of study and research, and they don't have a clue. So it's real easy when you look at life and the body simplistically. You understand what type of machine it is, what fuel it needs to burn and combust, the fact that we do burn fuel and combust fuel here on this at this level of creation, and just a little bit of that stuff, and pretty soon you got it, knowing that you have a blood supply that feeds the cells and a sewer system like every house, like every car, like everything on this planet. What's so hard for medical doctors to get that? They use toilets, they use cars. They ever thought about the exhaust system? Or you like the Kuwaitis where if your car breaks down, you just leave it alongside the road and order a new one. I've heard that, but you never know. You hear all kinds of stories. Oh, yeah. Well, I still got a bunch. Oh, good. Thanks, Jersey. Wow. Holy moly. Look how many more questions. I don't know if I can catch up with them, Joe.
You're doing fine.
We're doing. Is this still on?
I hope so.
I hope so, too.
You see the red dot?
Yeah, thank God. No more 2-hour videos that never got recorded.
That was intermission.
Oh, thanks. This is Karolina. I'm now 4 months pregnant. Since pregnant, I changed from almost 100% raw food vegan to eating mostly cooked. What'd you do that for? I know so bad. Oh, like beans? Oh, rice? Oh, pasta? Oh, honey. Oh, pizza? Oh, no, you got a baby growing in you, honey. Could be your fungus is up, though, you know, and that's what you're craving is all the fermented foods in these things here, or the complex sugars, you know. Unfortunately, I had no taste, desire for salads, fruits. I know, I tell you what, you can go through those phases. I've been through those phases. There's nothing wrong with admitting that. We all go through phases, except for those narcissistic people that think they're the purest things. But you know what? We all go through that stuff. So I have times I don't crave any fruit whatsoever, but it's rare. It's rare. I would say I probably go through that with salads more than I do with fruit, because I could eat fruit almost any time of the day, any time. I just have always been a fruit, berry, and melon fan. Just love them. Tastes are great. Vegetables, I don't do greens. They're too hard. My body loves to be light and energetic. I don't like to have my digestive system sitting there grinding on lettuce. But I get that. But you might try to at least strike a balance, sweetie, because you need that nutrition. And I would pump the superfood blend, because then your baby will come out pumped. But you know, take the superfood blend, get as many green drinks as you want, but a lot of fruit, because remember, the fruit keeps your and the baby's lymph system clean, keeps the kidneys filtering, but it enhances the brain and nervous system. Those are the brain and nerve foods, is your fruits and berries. Sorry, you can't regenerate nervous system tissue on veggies, not humans, but you can on fruits and berries. Done it all day long. So that's where you want to get, because you want your baby coming out good, honey. If you eat the pizza thing, your baby's going to come out full of mucus, all the other kind of stuff. Not good. This is the time you want to move yourself around. Try to gain control, whether you have the desire or not. Gain control, consciousness over the body. I know that first 3 months are so important to the development of the baby, and I'm afraid that now it's too late. Never too late. Don't think that ever. It's never too late. Now start changing back. Start going back to your raw vegan. That's how you're going to have a plump child. I mean, there is no science at all that can state that raw foods are inferior to cooked foods. The very idea that might bring is ludicrous. You can't destroy chemistry and claim it's better than the original chemistry that God put out there for you to eat. Just not going to happen. We developed cooking for some reason, and I think the big reason is that man migrated predominantly into northern climates where it was cold weather. And you had to have food through the winter, you had to store, you had to can, and that set up a whole downhill slide. Doesn't have to do that in the tropics. So it's just you can see how man went in his migration and how it took him down. But it really took him down when he decided chemistry had the answers to his problems. When we decided chemists were smart and that they had the answers, that's when man's health went swing. It's not too late, sweetheart, to improve babies. Not at all, honey. You just start right now. You always start right now. Forget the past. Start right now and work on your health and your baby's health, and you'll have a good baby. Can you tell me if it's too late? No. Karolina, age 31 from Germany. Sweetie, you have a good baby there. You eat good, eat raw, and enjoy your baby. I would do the God's blend or superfood blend, and that's all you need. Plenty of calcium in that. I would say this, make sure you don't have a parathyroid weakness. If you're bruising easy, you have spider veins or varicose veins, you have depression, fix it before you have a baby, or times will not be real happy. Postpartum and then the baby's problems. You've got to be able to supply plenty of calcium without losing yours. And that's a parathyroid issue. That's the only thing I would recommend. And then make sure you're filtering and your adrenals are up and everything, because your consciousness of your body is where your baby's living for 9 months or whatever. And it's going to take on that too. Not only just the cell, chromosome, DNA patterns, but the morphoditions of the genetics. Hey, Jack. I have a question regarding spirituality and its relation to health. I have chronic fatigue syndrome, and over the years have tried no end of different diets and treatments to try and regain my health, all with little success. And then earlier this year, when I was feeling worse than ever before, I had a series of sudden realizations which I subsequently have learned to be spiritual in nature. It's funny. Our spiritual guides and everything, they're great beings, always knows right when to nudge and help and things like this. It's all so good. There's so much in the universes of creation in itself. There's so much higher levels than this really constipated level. Since then, I have been filled with an underlying feeling of calm and understanding. Take a little journey, did they? Take you on some journeys to show you some things. Nothing scares me anymore, and my health has been on a slow but steady increase ever since. Yep, sounds like your spiritual guide said, hey, it's time. Sounds like it. I was wondering if you have seen this in some of your... Oh, yeah. Don't tell anybody, guys. Don't tell anybody. But this is the diet that spiritualizes you. It brings in the energy. It opens up the occlusions or blockages that you've developed through all the inferior foods that you burnt and all the nasty low vibrational foods. These are the high foods. It's hard to go on a fruit, berry, and melon program, detoxify and clean yourself out, and not grow spiritually. It is real hard. You could have a lot of confusion for a while if you buck that too much, because you're opening yourself up to the universe. You're bringing in more energy. You're bringing in more consciousness. It hasn't been what do we say, morphodized or hybridized. So this is cool stuff, man. Jock, it sounds like it's your time to start opening, and this is your time to grow and be awake now. Oh, that's exciting, because it's just a process of awakening and awakening and awakening, and more of a smile and awakening and letting go all the crap. You play, but you don't care to play. Remember, Jesus said, become like little children. You get mad for a minute, and it's gone. You get mad, then you hug. I love you. Sorry, I just lost my temper for a while. Maybe I didn't like the way you talked to me or whatever. But you don't hold on to anything. You hold on to those things and it burns you. You let it go. If you get mad with your schoolmates, you get mad. All right? Maybe they said something bad or something. You can sit there and tell them, you said something and I didn't like it. But never hold anything. It doesn't matter. You don't have to hold hate or anything about anything like that ever. You always want to be happy and free yourself. Always be yourself. Never give yourself away to others. If you want to have a relationship, enjoy your relationships as individuals, not too bonded, or it'll rip you good. You can bond really close and have some incredible, deep spiritual relationships and still be free. Makes for the best spiritual relationship with another being there is. Cool stuff. When you got two spiritual beings coming together, it's like cocoon. The energy unites and everything is just gorgeous. That's the way it should always be when we meet anybody. No matter what, for the first time. You hug somebody and you go, "Aw, you're really a nice being." We got to start doing stuff like that, because that's how you pull yourself out of the negative aspects of the mind, of judgments and hates and all those things that we lay on others. But, yeah, dig in, man. Kick it up to fruits, berries, and melons. Dig in there, but know that sounds like your adrenals are down. But I'll tell you, I've never met a spiritual being that didn't have adrenal gland problems. It's what keeps them more emotional over more intellectual. And I can tell you, better. When you get mind riding too much and you accentuate your ego too much, you can get trapped in these worlds for eons of time. You can create so much karma for yourself, it's not even funny. So you want to, the emotional component, the creative component is always the better way to go, because that drives thought anyway. But sounds good, Jock. But get in there and get those adrenals up and your kidneys filtering and get your lymph system cleaned out and keep letting go of thoughts. Remember, be here now, Ramdas, be here now, be here now. Oh, there's a thought. Oh, I see it. Okay. You can recognize thoughts if you want it. If you want your mind to go get you some information, tell your mind to go get this information and just be awake when it comes back to you. It's right there. Oh, there it is. But don't keep dwelling in it. Hi, Dr. Morse. Is it possible to detox dark emotions captured in the body at a young age without doing inner child work? Yeah, I think so. I really think that you have to be careful about some of this inner child work and stuff. You have to be careful about who you allow to help you in your spiritual growth, because some of these people are psychic suckers. They'll sit on you and you don't even know it. So you really don't want to open yourself up. I wouldn't even open myself up to masters other than friends. You are the divine, individualized, and you want to recognize that. And the only time you can recognize that when you quit mind riding. Quit chasing the mind. Quit looking at isolates and look at the whole more. How we're all connected as opposed to how we're all different. It's a matter of perspective is all it is. It's changing your level of perspective. That simple. It's like out-of-body travel. It's just changing your level of perspective. But, yeah, it's hard not, when you're detoxifying, it's hard not for these things to come out, because it's just like tumors and acids. Your body pushes negativity out of itself. And so this stuff comes out, and these can be healing crises, and you have to identify them as that. Like I think I brought this up on our last video, where a lady had so much pain in her hip, so bad she went to the ER. And of course they couldn't find anything there. They never do. And then she, of course, they can't see the genetics like we can in the eye. So so when she called and said that, when I was talking with her, I said, "Look at that hip. That's genetics. That's why you went through that." So you could have real pain in just a detox, and they don't see it. They don't see pain anyway. You got to realize that. That's why everything is always in your head. Oh, I got pain in my shoulder. If they don't see a lump or a hump or some dense chemistry there, it's all in your head. I was like, what? I mean, that's stupid stuff. That's like stupid stuff. You have to admit it. Not to down them, but it's like stupid stuff. But your inner child is you. You got to remember that. And you don't want to separate yourself to your inner child. Here I am, but wait a minute, my inner child. Well, who am I then? If I'm being who I am, then who's my inner child? You mean there's a part of me I don't know, or it should, maybe I'm not where I need, So you want to get to consciousness. That's who you are. There's nothing beyond that. That's the end all of end all, consciousness. And you can only be it, because that's what you already are. So it's not something you have to, or you can create. Can't do those things. You can't read it in a book, because it's what already exists. And only those that know that can touch that. Jesus, Buddha, all the spiritual beings, they all knew that. Of course, they went through what I call the poverty consciousness to kind of go there. And then we all do. I did. I let everything go. I could care less. I could care less now. Who cares? You use it, you play with it, you let it go. You hold on to materiality and it'll bite you. Okay. Now we got a lot of these paper clips, so I don't know. Let's see, where's my time here? All right, this is Paul. Hey, Paul. Hello, update from Paul from Canada. Hey, Paul from Canada with ALS and the 5-year-old daughter. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have been extremely weight loss. Yep. He's had extreme weight loss and weakness. Now can't move my arms at all now. I have been through thousands of dollars of herbs with adrenal glandular. Recent blood pressure in left arm is 124/82, heart rate 86. Right arm 148/84, heart rate 97. How can you have a heart rate of 97 on one side and a heart rate of 82 on another? Notice that difference there? All right. I seem to be getting worse. Any suggestion for positive change? Absolutely. Thank you very much for your help. I'm still juicing watermelon and grapes. Okay. All right. So here's the thing, Paul. If you're on the glandular, get off of the glandular. You want to shift yourself to the adrenal herbal side. Sometimes when you reach maximum energetics of those glandulars, they have the opposite effect. Seems like it's kind of like there's a saturation of energy. It's kind of like an ionization. When you have an acid principle going on here, you bring in base chemistry, there's an ionization, there's a loss of electrons to bring this cationic environment more into an anionic environment. So in balance, because nature favors an anionic environment and negative charge. So you reach a saturation point of the move of electrons. In chemistry, sometimes it sounds like they think you can just make an anionic metal into a cationic metal and then change a base metal to an acid metal. I don't see that. I think you have salts and everything else coming into play way before that. But there's that saturation of energy. So it might be where you are on that. So I would get off of that. I'll tell you, you might want to add some green drinks just to add that, to see how that affects you. Not vegetables, but green drinks. Add the parsley. If you can find dandelion green, maybe too late in the year, but beets, beet tops, spinach, and work with maybe some green drinks or the superfood blend. But only have 1 or 2 drinks of that a day. You can put a little superfood blend in with that. See if we can't do some building, but we have to make sure you're absorbing and stuff. Paul, why don't you send me a picture of your eyes and put on there the ALS with 4-year-old daughter, 5-year-old daughter. And let me take a look at your eyes, my friend, and see what we can do. You need to be on upper circ, brain, and nerve. Remember that always. You want to make sure your kidneys are filtering. If your kidneys are not filtering, that would be a big problem for you. And you could be years trying to get well when your kidneys need to filter. If they're not filtering, make sure you're on 2 kidney formulas and change them up. Also, you might want to do the kidney glandular just for 1 or 2 bottles and do 2-3 times a day and see if you can't, kind of wake those kidneys up. At the same time, your blood pressure is a little too high. Your heart rate is too fast. Your blood pressure is 124/82, and the other arm's 84. 80s are too high. They really need to be in the 60s. So if I'm taking that 80s down to 60s, I'm bringing your systolic down to the hundreds. So you're still working with very low blood pressure. And you need to break that. And I'm amazed you haven't broke that lower diastolic, because as soon as you do, you could add licorice to this, and licorice would be good. It would definitely help to increase nerve function. Brain and nerve, you could have brain and nerve formula 1 and 2 and use them at least. Make sure you're doing a dropper full 3 times a day of those at least, and upper circulation, get brain lesions and all that. But you've got to be able to move lymph, because if you can't move lymph and filter lymph, I don't care how tried you are, how many herbs you're on, you never go anywhere. That's the problem. If you can't remove the causative factors, you can't change the outcome. So I'll be the first to admit that some of you guys are having extremely difficult times getting kidneys to filter. But that's kind of where my expertise kind of starts to wane a little bit. This is another reason why, in talking to all of you guys can go out and with all of our brain power, we can figure out how maybe we can get kidneys to filter faster. But those are the things, Paul, and I don't like the fact that some of the things here, you want to get a hold of me and let me look at your case. Let's see what else is going on here that I'm not seeing here, okay? That's the best thing I can tell you, my friend, because we got a 5-year-old daughter that we don't want walking down the same road you are. So make sure you get me some eye pictures and everything else. If you can get me one of your daughter, that would be good. But see what you can get me, Paul, and write Paul on there and get it to Chris. Turn it in, I'll take a look at your case. If you want, I'll show it over the overline. Only because he's having a hard time, guys. We need to take a look at Paul's case and see where we can help him out to get better. Now, Paul's in the wintertime now in Canada, and that's going to be cold. Now, alkaline is, in an ALS situation, cold is good. But inside, it needs to be base. So it's a little bit difficult. But hang in there, Paul. Let me take a look and we'll see what's holding you back here. Because we've never had an ALS case you couldn't get. I don't remember any ALS case. Just the one guy where his son took off. I got him up out of a chair. But during that whole process, he hired an RN to help him. And the RN talked him into taking a new chemical medication that was on the market for ALS. Dead in 2 weeks. I go, what? He died. I said, he died what? Took a new medication that killed him. I mean, this is just, I've had so many people die from chemical medications, it's not even funny. Or have strokes and heart attacks from them. Seen it all over the place. So this is kind of sad stuff. But that's the only case. So I don't understand, if you're not doing well or you're feeling that, we need to look deeper at your case. And that's what I mean with detox. You want to look deeper at these cases to see, are they filtering, are they not filtering? Is there big-time genetics deeper than what we anticipated? And that could take a little longer. Is there more pituitary we can go after? Where else can we go after? So these are always questions that a true healer is going to ask themselves, because our goal is to get Paul normal and to take care of that child before that child walks the same road. Now, Paul's probably has her on raw and stuff, so that child will work itself right out of that. But for Paul, we got to get him back and get that ALS out of him. Essential to do that. Okay, this is B. I have been diagnosed with stage 5 kidney failure. Yeah, honey, that kidney failure is everywhere, and this is a big, huge deal. You got to fix this one. Kidney failure, this is exactly why. And I say, even in Paul, your case, you got to look at your kidneys and see what stage we're at in that. Paul, you might want to get a complete blood workup and send it to me too. You want a metabolitic panel, your metabo panel, and your CBC with diff. Get that look, and let's see what your blood's showing us. You get me that, you give me a copy of your eyes, Paul, we'll take a look at you. So this lady's been diagnosed, B's been diagnosed with stage 5 kidney failure and has been told that I have to have dialysis ASAP of a kidney transplant if my girls are a match. So far, I have refused treatment as I have been searching for another way out of my predicament, and I found your website. I need help urgently as I only have 5% kidney function and not how long I have before they completely fail. Can you help me, please? B, you're in the UK, or I'd call you right now on YouTube so you guys can see me talk to her. Because when you put it out over YouTube, if I call you over YouTube, then you'll be able to see that. But I've got a long distance number here, and I don't know quite how to dial you. I used to know how to dial the UK and dial over there, but I don't. But I'll say this, B, you've got to get nothing but fruits, berries, and melons, period. I wouldn't overdo. Now, are you peeing? Are you urinating? This is very key. You haven't mentioned this in here, and you have to have dialysis. So what this is telling me, you're not on dialysis yet. Perfect. Now you got to look up. Right now, go to your health food stores and find some herbs for kidneys. Also, get on your fruits and your berries. And this is UK, so the weather's not going to be on your side, but who cares? You're in trouble, and you got to fix this, B. I'll have the girls call you. Matter of fact, I'll have Val call you. Tell her it's on this video and that you can look up this video. But B, you got to get on your kidney formulas, your adrenal glands, because they control the kidneys, and get on the foods that clean and astringe and start to love on those kidneys. You don't want to do proteins of any type, or you'll just go ahead and lose your kidneys. You want to save your kidneys? You back away from protein. You go visit them later. But you want to get into those kidneys, and the fruits and the berries and the melons are the only level. And you also want to get on some kidney herbs and start regenerating these kidneys. Get them filtering because you're losing them. And you're losing them because they've stopped filtering, and they themselves now are breaking down. You didn't give me a creatinine level here. You guys want to talk to me like that, give me some of these numbers and I'll help you more about that. Excuse me. There's that mucus again, but you want to get that creatinine down. You want a creatinine below 0.6. 0.5, 0.4, perfect. Your bun, you want 4 or 5 at the very most. If your bun is higher than that, you're eating too many proteins. And you'll never get out of kidney failure on proteins. That's what causes kidney failure. So, you got to do these things. So, I'll try to get you taken care of ASAP, because this has been sitting here for a while. Damn. Oh, that's why when you get this bad and you're in serious trouble, you guys call the clinic. Don't waste time. They don't bite you. They don't bite. Call them. What do I do? How am I in trouble? Tell them what's going on. How do I fix myself? Because when don't wait for me to do a YouTube video for you. I'll get to it. But you are in trouble. You go now, because going on dialysis only serves to make you worse. And then kidney transplant, you're taking from the same genetic tree. You can't do that. And then to take someone else's kidney when each kidney is used for each side of the body. You don't take a kidney. We didn't get an extra kidney. When you have a learned medical doctor say crap like that, I just want to freak out. Oh, so you think God put one in there just so we have an extra one, just so you guys can transplant another? Oh, that's narcissism beyond belief. One kidney's for one side, one kidney's for the other side. And you'll see that, you'll learn that. Same thing with the adrenal glands. That's why Jack or Paul there got different readings on each side. Even heart rate was different on each side. How about that one? Blood sugar is different on each side. They don't look at that. So you just have to understand, we are two halves working together and sharing common tissues. And each side is a little different. We've talked a lot about that in past videos. I just wanted to express my gratitude for spreading the truth of health. Oh, thanks, Alan. Thanks, my friend. Love you too, man. I am going to be an example of all my friends and family. Good, because I tell you, the world needs to see happy people. The world needs to see healthy people. The world needs to see spiritual people. We just keep playing in the same mix and same batter, and the same cookies keep coming out. So we need to infuse that a little bit to show them what a little elevation of consciousness will do to you. How happy you can be, how peaceful you can be, and how joyful you can be, and how feeling good you can be, and how out of pain you can be, and how no tumors can grow in you, and all those things. I have been on and off with fruit for a few months, but my New Year resolution is to go all year with 100% fruit, and it's going to great. My heart goes out to you, Dr. Morse, and all the people who are helping spread the truth. I will stay strong and help others reach this level. Alan, love you, man. Another warrior dude right there. You know, because what you guys are doing is developing your ability to be warriors. Ability to tell the truth, the ability to help others instead of the opposite. Then we have to bring the positive sides out now. You know, some people just love to live on those negative sides, and it's like, yeah, but you could spend lifetimes there. And the other side can take you into worlds and worlds beyond that, experiences that are just unfathomable. Fun stuff, just there's no words for that. Hey, Kate, yep. Hi, honey. Hello, guys. I keep hearing about a Facebook group from Dr. Morse. Could you please tell me the name of it so that I can join them? I don't, you know, it's funny. I don't even know. Shannon is kind of the central desk for all of that. She's the school, working with Artie, you know, working with everyone for now. And so once Karolina or whoever comes in, we're working, I'm building offices here now. I've got one almost done. I've got another one to put in, another two. And then, you know, we'll have more space here. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know which one that is. Get a hold of Shannon. Call up the clinic and ask for Shannon and see if she can help you with that. We're doing our best. I mean, we're just so busy and there's so much going on, and we're trying to develop our website into a really good thing for you, a great learning tool. We have a lot of information, a lot of links to all you, from the raw chocolate lady. You see those beautiful things, all raw. Everything there is raw. From that to some of your beautiful books that you've written, to all kinds of things that you guys are building and demonstrating to the world how good our side really is and how beautiful and healthy our side really is. You know, if we get away from bitching and bite-backing and gossiping and things, we're a good group. And we have a lot to offer this planet in terms of spiritual awareness and growth and health and how to get yourself out of Hellville to Wellville. So that's pretty good. I mean, what else could you do in creation that's pretty good, you know, that the divine has got a good wink at? Okay. Duana? Hi, Dr. Morse. I stumbled on one of your videos late last night while trying to find more info on the lymphatic system. Yeah. Good luck. I know. We want to bring as much of that system. We want to shove it in their noses. So finally they wake up. Oh, this is the lymph system. Oh, what's that? That's what we need to do. So this world starts using lymph instead of blood all the time. Oh, there's two systems. Oh, no one talks about the other one very much, but that's where I'm having, that's where the tumors are. Oh, that's where all the pain is. Well, that's where I'm experiencing everything. That's where the swelling is. See? So this is just good stuff. And I'm glad you're looking up the lymph system, sweetheart, because that's just what you need to look up. However, after seeing several of your videos, I'm really hoping you can help me with an issue that I know is probably parasitic related. Even though the doctors say there is no cause and no cure, my little 6-year-old girl, look at this, geographic tongue. Oh, okay. Interesting you noticed that. I mean, she has a geographic GI tract. Remember, your tongue is just an extension of your bowels. You know, this is gastrointestinal. It's actually mouth to rear. So, absolutely, you want to get in. I'd put, if she's 6 years old, she needs to be on a high fruit, berry, and melon diet. I wouldn't even give greens to a little bitty person like that. You know, these are for horses and cows and grinding animals that grind their foods. But at 6 years old, you can really get her comprehension levels, her brain levels way up, fix any neurological weakness, fix the kidneys and adrenals, stuff like that. But I would definitely, work on her GI tract. Now, work on that. When you work on something, I use herbs and foods. I use chemistry. Just like you use chemistry to bring you down, I use chemistry to bring you back up. Different chemistry. So, the fruits and the berries and the melons, perfect for children, perfect for adults, they're perfect for Homo sapiens. That's why we are designed the way we are. We have the hands instead of the claws. This is why we have the teeth. That's why we have everything the way we do. It's that simple. We're more primate-ish. So we're more frugivore-ish. Not much to us ranks omnivore-ish, to be honest with you. Not hardly anything. Even though medical says, oh, that's our closest vertebrae. No, it isn't. Frugivores are. You can't even prove that. That's a ridiculous statement by the AMA, as far as I'm concerned. My little 6-year-old girl has geographic tongue. It is really painful. Okay, that's what we don't want. Okay. We don't want to get pain in the tongue. Because I tell you guys, having tongue pain, well, cut your tongue with a razor blade. Ow! Smash your tongue with a hammer. That all hurt. There's a lot of sensory neurons there. Now, it's coming right up out of her stomach. So you want to get her off of any type of milky products, anything like you're 6 months, 6 years, 6 years. Yeah. Oh, no, yeah, 6-year-old girl. She should have been on fruit since she was 6 months old. You really, the more we look, the more research, the more we see, most babies need to be off breast milk in 6 months easy. Some can't handle it that far. When your baby starts getting mucusy up and ear infections and stuff, you got to pull them away from the milk, or you're going to have one serious trouble going to the ER all the time, getting antibiotics and going through the hell that creates. But this shows that your daughter has probably a chronic GI tract, honey, and you want to work on that. Get her a little stomach, and if she's pooping okay, get stomach and bowel number 1, which doesn't have anything in it but healers. And I do just 1 capsule twice a day. You could do 1 capsule 3 times a day, wouldn't hurt her, but you could do 1 capsule twice a day. They're mainly anti-inflammatories and healers. There's some plantain in there, a little drawing action to help clean that. But I would seriously want to take a look at her kidneys and adrenal glands, because that's why your GI tract gets as bad as it is, that on top of protein consumption. It just, acids rip you up, period. Period. And proteins are acids. It is really painful sometimes and causes her to dislike most foods, and almost always there is a reaction to acidic fruits. Well, you know that. So, cool her down, bring her down, make her some applesauce with cinnamon. Get the sweet apples, get the red delicious apples, and make some applesauce and put a little light cinnamon in there, really light, and have her do on that. Cinnamon will help the GI tract. At the same time, get stomach and bowel number 1. That'll be very helpful. At the same time, stay away from the acid fruits. Now, oranges, if you can get sweet as honey oranges, okay, or tangerines. But I would be down a little more to the grapes, be a little more to the apples, the pears, a little more gentle foods. If she can deal with some bananas, some dates and figs, blueberries, blackberries, pretty powerful. I don't know how she would do with those, but pretty powerful. You could see some honeydew, very gentle. Watermelon, really powerful. So maybe, but you'll have to see. Cantaloupe, possible. Some of these are, they just look like simple fruits, berries, and melons. They'll rip you. Some of them are real powerful. And so that's how I would deal with this. Another way is you could get some Heal-All tea. Now we got a little Heal-All tea. Make it into a little tea that she can drink, a little sipping tea, and have her sip that or put it in some juice, like grape juice or apple juice, and have her sip that. And work that out of her, because that's not good. That geographic tongue is geographic intestines. Shows a chronic and inflamed gut. That's why she can't handle acid fruits, because she's too acid here. That's one of the problems with acid fruits. That's why the sweeter the fruit, the more base it is. Just because an orange is called an acid fruit, not necessarily. If it's grown properly, picked ripe, it'll be sweet as honey. You won't stick an acid to that one. More your grapefruit, your lemons, your more bitter principles. Those are acids. But in the final analysis, all these acid fruits like grapefruit and lemons, they all have base chemistry. As a result of that, they're base chemistry dominant, even though you can feel the acids in them. But you want to fix your little daughter up right now. Because when you look at the infants, you're looking between chronic lymph, chronic bowels, and chronic nerve. That's what you're seeing in all the babies, and all that implies. This is Alexey. Just wanted to say a huge thank you for all that you... Oh, I love you. Thanks, honey. I appreciate that, guys. Keeps us going here. Love you guys. We're all in this together. You know, we're all in Homo sapien bodies right now, kind of on a rock that's spinning through space that's slowing down and getting more negative, and we just have to turn that around and infuse that with more energy. That'll speed it back up, and everything's good. Thanks, sweetheart. I love that. Thank you, honey. I really appreciate all of your amazing and invaluable videos. Oh, thanks. I never thought you guys would like these videos like that. That's pretty good. I appreciate that very much. I'm warm and fuzzy. But if it helps you and you get yourself out of trouble, my heart's good. Learning about the detoxification protocol and spirituality has been a life-changing experience. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And it should be, because we need to poke our head up out of the sand and start looking around at the beauty that is ours to have and to enjoy. And then there's so much deeper parts of yourself you can enjoy simultaneously. Oh, my God. You're such a massive being, each and every one of you. You're all so beautiful and massive in your ability to do things and who you are. You know, we play these little games, these little humanoid games, but... the reality is, you guys are some big spiritual dudes. Just got to waking up to it. All it is. Thanks again. Oh, happy holidays to you. Thank you, Alexey. Thank you so much, sweetheart. This is Cora. Recently had mercury fillings and metal crowns removed by a holistic dentist. Good. In the next week, I will have my root canals removed also. My ND had me on a protocol of bentonite clay, charcoal, MSM, and electrolytes for 1 month before removal. And then Karolina the day before and the day of removal, and H-metal spray for days after removal. Is there anything I should be doing for detoxifying the mercury out, in your opinion? Yeah, I definitely would get my lymph system moving, because remember, the body dumps what it doesn't want, metals and everything else, into the lymph system. That's where everything is stored. You don't store in the blood, you store in the lymph. So what you see in the blood is fractional to what you have stored in the body, in the tissues, or in subcutaneous tissues, and in the probably even in the lymph nodes even, and then in the interstitial spaces. So, get your kidneys filtering, get your adrenals up, clean up the gut so everything can absorb and eliminate well there. Get yourself sweating so everything can be eliminated properly and you won't have a problem one. And you want to make sure you're detoxifying the head. Get your sinuses clean, candle your ears. You'll start cleaning and getting everything flowing. That's hydration, and that happens in an alkaline medium. Eating predominantly fruits, berries, and melons, maybe with some veggies. Or veggie fruits. Not fan of MSM at all. I wouldn't be doing that one. As far as charcoal and bentonite, minimally, make sure you're moving your bowels well, because you don't want to get an impaction by taking these clays. But, you know, those are easy to detoxify out and stuff like that. I don't know why these holistic dentists get crazy about removing everything, like root canals and everything. I've had 12 root canals in my life, and none of them ever bothered me. But if you keep getting your body acidic, then everything's going to bother you. So you have to change that. You have to change the nature of the medium for which your cells are living. Your cells cannot live and thrive in an acidic medium. They can only live and thrive in a base-dominant medium, which is a negative charged medium, which is what nature favors on this planet. Some other planets are the opposite, and those are the ones that NASA knows we can't be on. Oh, this is Pia. Is that the name? Happy New Year to the wonderful staff. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Happy New Year. Boy, it's moving so fast. We passed Santa Claus now, I guess. Now it's who? Easter Bunny? No, Valentine's Day. Well, you know, you make every day a happy day. Then it doesn't matter what day it is. Every day is your day to rejoice and be happy. You woke up, feels good, the body feels good, there's no aches and pains, you're pretty pliable and easy, you're not stiff and sore, you loose, you're not stiff. That's good live. Look so much forward to another year. Yeah, baby. Following all the inspiring and motivating YouTube. Thank you, man. I tell you, I'm excited for the new year, too. I think we can really heal them up. You know, we have some cases like Paul here, or some of the guys that are deep into some ALS things. I know there's an MS case that I'm working on overseas. He's really fighting, but he's changing. He's growing spiritually. That's changing the outcome. So, you know, sometimes we have tough things to go through, past experiences, past karma and stuff, but burn through them. Don't take no for an answer. You will get up. You will not stay in that same position. And you just make things happen. You power up. You bring the power of the divine in, the power of your knowingness. And that's what you become the knower. You become the controller. You become the head of your destiny. No more leaf blowing in the winds for you guys. It brings me closer to my life, my health, love, and my goals. I love you, sweetheart. Good deal. If I've helped in any way to that, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's my goal, why I'm here, and why we're all working together. I love it. It's a fun thing. I'm working hard on my fruits, berries, and melons here in the little cold Denmark. Ooh, I know it's tough, guys. I know it's tough. We do the best you can. You know, you do the best you can. If you have to cheat once in a while on steamed veggies, okay. But you do the best you can. You know, I'm proud of all of you working on yourselves, because you will reap the rewards. Others will sit there and keep and never reap the rewards. So, lucky though, I have an apartment in Spain also. It makes it a lot easier. Well, I wish you well too, my dear one, Pia, and all of you guys out there. Happy holidays. Enjoy the year. I can do one more. I got time for one more. Okay. Is it okay to take a teaspoon of baking soda in water to help reduce acidosis? You know what? We call it the fast track alkalizer, and we generally do that, but you want to be careful. You know, I'm real careful about chemistry that's produced in the body, because when you get into the pancreatic duct where the bicarbonate is produced, you're really into an endoexocrine gland, and when you're getting into the endos and the exos, you got to be careful about supplying to the body what these tissues produce, because it is obvious and notorious that these tissues set back when the chemistry is already supplied by foreign or an outside source, whether medical or naturopathic or whatever. So you got to remember that, be real careful. But I've done that to some extent on our near-death people, a little pinch. So I'd rather see you do a little pinch of baking soda, aluminum-free, in maybe some Hillel tea or in your herbs or something, just a little pinch. That would be good. But also by cleansing and enhancing the GI tract, the pancreas, the liver, all of this bicarbonate and everything will be produced. Whether that aids in the rehydrating process and ionization, probably to some extent. It sure helps the blood maintain its level, that's for sure. But keep working on the kidneys and adrenal glands in that relationship there. This is Steve. What do you recommend to shrink fibroids? Steve? Fibroids? Alkalinity, the opposite side of chemistry that's creating them. That's simple, Steve. The opposite side of chemistry. Remember acids. For you guys out there, you know what welding is, right? Well, that's what acids do. So you take a woman that's had extreme acidosis of the uterus, and they call that endometriosis. That'll actually weld the uterus to the bowel wall. I was just reading a case, matter of fact, the same lady that had, I think she had a tumor in the uterus or something. Anyway, they did a hysterectomy, and they found that her uterus had welded itself a little bit to her intestines and stuff. And so They did a full oh no, this was ovarian. It was ovarian cancer. And they just took everything, cervix and everything. Jesus Christ, and it's like, what? So, I mean, it's just, we can't live in those ignorant, low-level, ostrich head under the sand type levels anymore, where we're cutting out people's organs and glands because we don't know how to fix something that the rest of the world is learning how to fix. So, you want to bring alkalinity and hydration to your tissues. And how do you do that? You change the chemistry you're bringing in, number one. So, you're going to move from an acid-dominant ingestion to a base-dominant ingestion. To have a base-dominant ingestion, you have to eat fruits, berries, melons, and veggies. That's it. Everything else is an acid ingestion. Even if you get into and argue about quinoa and millet and so on, you still have such a high level of complex sugar of starch that you're going to see a higher acid hit on them anyway. So really you want more of the simple chemistry, the basic chemistry without the complex, because most complex chemistry ends up in acidosis anyway, or alkali, or ketosis, which is lipids. So that's what I would be doing. I would bring alkalinity. In other words, move lymph. Get the kidneys and adrenals up. Make sure you're filtering. And bring hydration by eating those foods, and that will start reducing fibroids. It'll make things that are hard soft again. When you see tumors that get hard, that's acids hardening, making things petrified, like hard rocks that are actually wood. So, I mean, it's just what goes on under the acid sky, and that includes radiation therapy, that includes chemotherapy in particular. These things just fry you up like a piece of bacon. Is that how we get healthy? Is that how our healthcare systems turned out? Which shows you what's going on the planet, huh? Robert, hey Robert. Oh, I got to end this one pretty soon. Hey, Robert, you said we aren't also green eaters. I am worried no one knows a damn thing about anything at this point. These questions, though, do you know what homeopathy is, of course? That would be a strange question to ask a naturopath, bro. If so, do you think it's real? I do. You know, even though you're taking the essence, the frequencies of these things. I always like herbs better, be honest with you. But if you want to treat your problems, I've never seen a better system at treating symptoms where you don't have fatal events and the extreme blowback that pharmaceuticals have. I'm against the concept of treatment, but I'm only against it so far because in this world you have to have some of it. And I know some great homeopathists, and I've seen some great homeopathists produce some incredible products that really I'm ready, that will really help you. So I'm very in favor of a good homeopathist. There's a reason the Queen uses one, remember? She's not a stupid woman. If you do so, think it's real. If so, do you have proof it works? We have plenty of people reducing symptoms. Go out and get yourself a headache and then go get yourself a good homeopathic for it. Take it right out. I'm assuming yes, yes, and no. Please correct me if that's not the case. Yes, yes, and no. Okay. Well, I'm saying you could be a green eater if you extract the cellulose out of it. We could be green eaters by removing the fiber. That's why we invented, of course. Why would you invent a juice extractor if greens were perfect for you? You wouldn't. You would find, oh, look, I can take out the heavy digestive side of that and benefit more from the chlorophyll and somewhat of the chemistry. But when you look at frequencies and you look at the total package and look at the type of vertebrae that we have on the planet, it's quite easy to look at teeth, bowels, and fingers and hands and claws and, all these things to compare species. Then these questions are moot because really we can eat them, but they're not the maximum good for us. The fruits, berries, and melons are easy for us to digest, higher in energy, and definitely suited for the Homo sapien. But I like homeopathy. I've said this many times, Robert. Medical doctors need to be homeopathists. The killing of humans would drastically go down. So I've got a lot more here, but I got to take off. Look at this. Compound. Look at this. I love this one. This is pretty cool. Who sent me this one? This is neuroscience. Excuse me. Compound found in herbs and spices strengthens brain connections. I'll have to read this. It's Brazilian research shows that the flavonoid, has potential to treat diseases like schizophrenia, depression, Alzheimer's. No wrong thinking, but it's the flavonoid complex that you're looking for in your fruits and your berries in particular. Highest flavonoids on the planet. And they are vascular health, health of neurons, health everywhere. High flavonoids, part of the vitamin C complexes, but vitamin C, acidic. You want flavonoids, baby. And we've talked a lot about flavonoids here in the past videos. Well, I've got a lot of questions I want to get to, but I've got a run here. Oh, yeah. I want to do this guided meditation, too, so I want to put that over here as well. But, Tracy, let me get you again on these questions here. And I want to close and go take care of business. All right. I love you guys. I'll come back and finish up here. I've got a lot more here to go over. I hope this video helped you guys. And go have some fun. Happy holidays. I love you all. This year we're going to knock them, aren't we? Yeah. You guys have some good cases. This is the year you'll see your cases winning your cases. Remember, it takes a good year around a good case to see it win. So, or 6 months, So allow your cases time to come around and win. And any way we can help you, we're here for each and every one of you. I love you guys. May the blessings be.